Sacred Gate, I think it is. And now we need to put these things down. But just a little bit of a tangent, which I thought was hilarious. And I wasn't going to mention it in a video because I don't really like to give people who are that negative the light of day, because it's kind of like giving them a spotlight, and it's not really what I want to do. I don't want to exacerbate idiots. But with the same logic, it was too funny not to mention it, so hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did. And if you got to see it before I banned him and it removed it, which sucks because I would have loved to have kept it. In fact, I might try and find it on my history and comment myself what he put, because it's so delicious. Need to be careful here because this guy will swing like a nutter and hit me, and that's not what we want. That signifies that he just saw me. I'm going to cough here, guys, because I'm a little bit chesty. Excuse me. Sorry about that. If I see it in post, I'll try and remove it, because the joy of live commentating means that the post-production part of making a walkthrough is significantly shorter. Is it straight up from here? I think it is. Yeah, it is. Oh no, no, don't run at me. Those things are super fast, and they've got this really cheeky, almost Mike Tyson jab. It comes out of nowhere. I might have to use another effort. Which, you might be thinking, oh Chris, don't waste your items, you're going to need them later on. This is a complete throwaway file, folks. This is not my main file. Just doing this to cover the game for the people that want it. And for the people that want to hear my opinions on it, even though I've already mentioned that my opinions are mostly hypercritical and exceptionally negative.
That's a piece of a...
But the cool thing about my channel is a lot of the people watching understand the difference between, you know, actual criticism and just being a hater, so they realise that even though I point out the flaws in games, it's not whining, it's not moaning, you know, it's just observations. It's observations that can be taken any way, and they're not intended to be a downer on anybody. I just think that this is a poor game that has an insane budget and should have been so much better. Oh, do you know what I've done? I've said I was going to save all that time, and I'm already running the path. So I'm not going to save all that time. I'm going to repeat the path I did before. Damn it. And I'm being chased by a really fast skeleton. Did you see that on the map? This dude will not let go. But it's cool because I don't think he can jump. So, sounds like this when I wish my internet was good enough so I could have streamed this. And I could be like looking at the chat because it's completely brainless, this game. A monkey could play it. What is this dude doing? So yes, I'm going to have to use a turbo Ethros, I'm going to run out. Which is cool. Does this give me full? Oh, it gives me very close to full. That's awesome. I will not need overclocking on the boss, because the boss, although he does have some extremely damaging moves, when it comes to damaging him, I think I've got it covered. It's different this time. It's different because the time's different. Shit. This could be awkward. But not to worry. Oh, actually, it might work. Did I already press that? No, I didn't. Yeah, this is going to work. Nice. Skip. I wish they'd have optimised the skipping a little better too, because you press to skip, and you can still skip like 1,000,000 times. Like, because it only skips a very small segment. Like, each of the animations that they put into the game were all somehow worthy of a view, even though the story in the game's not even worth viewing.
We saved humanity. Not like it's something I can brag about, though.
But that's one of the ironies of Final Fantasy. Have you noticed how they always make the sequels to the games which have the characters you care the least about? And I really liked Final Fantasy X, but do you know who I didn't care about? Yuna, sorry. Yuna Riku. Didn't care two fucks about those people at all. There was a nice emotional bond for Tidus to have, with her being, you know, the summoner and everything, and him falling in love with her. And there was the romance of that, which was great, but Yuna as a character, she was just kind of there, you know? If she wasn't a summoner, she wouldn't have been there, so...
Let's see the second mural.
So I was just stunned that they made a 2 to that when I would have liked a 2 for 9, a 2 for 8, a 2 for 7, a 2 for 6, a 2 for anything but 10. Like, I think 10 kind of finished and explained as much as a Final Fantasy has ever explained. As far as endings go, it really did cover everything. It was a fantastic ending. And then 13 comes along, which is unanimously panned by almost every critic that played it. And I don't know if they they'd already had plans to make some kind of sequels, or if they made the sequel to spitefully say, we did make a good game, and here it is, we just had to revise it, or what. I don't know how it works, but out of all of the series, if you were to ask a Final Fantasy fan, I don't think they would have ever said a sequel to 13. But that might be because 13 itself skews people's view. Because 13 is the physical equivalent of wiping dog shit in your eyes and trying to see without infection. And it is kind of funny, because in spite of all its flaws, 13 is still a completely playable, functional game. But even so... I need to get to that statue. Even so, it's still so easy to hate, because they got rid of the joy. They got rid of the love. Well, they got rid of everything except for pressing A and a terrible story. But this is the final room, guys. Now that we've got 2 of them, the game showed a cutscene of the 3rd area opening. It's bang next to the Sacred Gate, so we can now take the tablet and bang it on the projector, and it's going to open the final door. And then this dungeon's done, and we've done 3 main missions in one day, which is awesome. Although, technically, we did half of one yesterday. And then there's only 2 left, and one is a fetch quest, and a fetch quest that I'm kind of familiar with, which is useful. Because my first time round I didn't have a clue what I was doing. Like, why can you skip this? It's the camera literally parallaxing, or panning, sorry, between lightning and the thing to give it back to a neutral state so we can control the character. What is happening?
If it might save the souls of the completed crux should open the sacred gates.
If you're wondering what timeline we're on as far as the game, we're at 1 hour and 51 minutes into this game, give or take.
But be careful.
Then we haven't used any glitches, which just goes to show that this is a very different Final Fantasy, and definitely a game you should be wary to try. Like, this is literally only the most hardcore Final Fantasy or RPG people need apply, because you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. I really think it's going to be that, and well, personally I think it's only going to be one of those, and I think you know which one that is. But there's always somebody that likes it, just to throw off the exception to the rule. But this boss is called is it the Grendel or the Wendigo? It's one of them. And it looks really interesting. So this is the Grendel. He's got 1,330,000 life, and he's good on everything except for wind. So we're going to hit him with wind, we're going to try and stagger him, and then we're going to hit him with Artemis's arrow once I finish disgustingly burping. So he's going to buff himself. He does it at the beginning every time. Then he's going to hit me with Breath of a Rancor, which gives you a lot of status effects. You want to block. So when I cast magic, I like to back up. And there's a trick to spamming magic, and I didn't show it then. Because what happens with magic is, if you do 2 magics and then either swap or use a different move, it will not do the 3rd hit, and it will not slow down and kind of lock you in. And what this allows is, it allows you to change spells and achieve stagger much quicker than you normally would. And this should be it. There we go. So what you want to do is, for instance, if you've got Blitz or an attack, and you've got spells and everything else, you'll do 2 spells, 1 Blitz, 2 spells, 1 Blitz, and that way it never finishes the combo. And then from there you can swap to another person and do the same thing, and it will keep the stagger bar constantly staggered, and it's incredibly useful for staggering foes that you need to stagger, like the last boss, like Area Knight, things like that. But there you go, folks, that is the third storyline. That is the Fang narrative. And as you can tell, it's absolutely gripping.
The magic that was sealing the door.
That's why I skipped all the cutscenes.
Way now. You can
I can't skip this one.
but the clavis is halfway back to
So Fang is going to leave the party. That's the Predator hood, which is now turned into the Predator crown.
They can't complete such a complicated ceremony
And
on any day they choose.
that's the item that gives you a really good magic defense. So if you want to block magic, you want to put that on. And I don't know what he's talking about. So Fang's just left. And we're about to run out of time. So, what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to stop the recording now. It's going to transport us back to the Ark, and then we're going to continue the next day.